1400 WJZM Radio, 7 o'clock and 42 degrees in downtown Clarksville. We'll take an extended look at our weather forecast after this update in national news.
The Big 1400 is WJZM, Clarksville, Fort Campbell, Hopkinsville.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. A source tells the Associated Press that the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign helped to pay for the Trump-Russia dossier. More from correspondent Tim McGuire.
A person familiar with the matter says that Mark Elias, a lawyer who worked for both the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee and his law firm, began working with the political research firm Fusion GPS in the spring of 2016, and the effort continued until just before the November election. The FBI has been working to corroborate the file, and Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller's team has questioned the former British spy who is said to have compiled the claims of then-candidate Trump's ties to the Russians. Trump has long maintained that the file is politically motivated, phony stuff. Tim McGuire, Washington.
A sheriff's spokesman says a student and his friend have been fatally shot on the campus at Grambling State University.
When they arrived, there were two victims on the ground, and both appeared to be deceased.
As Grambling State University Media Relations Director Will Sutton, he says officers were dispatched after gunshots were heard around midnight last night. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is in India on earlier stops. He says he conveyed to Pakistan's leaders certain expectations the administration has about controlling terror groups in that country. President Trump was on Capitol Hill yesterday to lunch with Senate Republicans and discuss the GOP agenda.
The agenda includes a big push to pass a GOP tax reform bill, but the president said nothing about it or anything else when he emerged from the caucus room. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had a lot to say.
We're concentrating on the agenda that we have for the American people. The president shares that agenda, is going to do a good job, I think, promoting that agenda.
And that report from SRN's Linda Kenyon on Capitol Hill. On Wall Street, Dow futures reporting up by 12 points. NASDAQ futures are down by 6. This is SRN News. Millennials are turning to witchcraft.
Capitol Hill.
Poll after poll indicates America's young people are leaving Christianity, but they're not giving up on faith entirely. They're just putting it in other things. MarketWatch reports an uptick in 18 to 29-year-olds' interest in witchcraft and the occult. More than half of the country's young adults believe astrology is actually a science. The psychic services industry has grown to a $2 billion behemoth. One astrologer tells MarketWatch, quote, there is a belief vacuum. Michael Harrington, SRN News.
Thousands of ultra-Orthodox Jews from a radical sector again blocking roads in Jerusalem this week, bringing traffic to a standstill and scuffling with police. Men in black hats and side locks mobbed intersections, preventing public buses and cars from moving. Police used a water cannon to disperse the demonstrators, the latest after some of the group's members were arrested when they did not go through the procedures for the draft. This is SRN News. House Republican leaders say the Twitter war between the president and Tennessee Senator Bob Corker will not be affecting the GOP agenda.
Speaker Paul Ryan weighing in.
I don't think it changes our efforts on tax reform. I know Bob, who supported the budget, wants to get tax reform. I know the president wants to get tax reform.
As for whether it's a distraction,
all this stuff you see on a daily basis on Twitter this and Twitter that, forget about it. Let's focus on helping people, improving people's lives, and doing the things that we said we would do that accomplishes that. That's what we're focused on.
The House will pave the way for debate on tax reform when it takes up the Senate budget resolution on Thursday.
As Capitol Hill correspondent Wally Hines, Twitter is looking to become more transparent. The online networking site says it will begin providing more information about political ads on the service. Among the information that will be shared with users is who is funding those advertisements and how the ads were targeted. The move follows similar steps taken by Facebook and Twitter. More details at srnnews.com. From Washington, I'm Bob Agnew.
Jackson's Body Shop, downtown. Jackson's Body Shop, downtown. It's your car, it's your voice. Jackson's Body Shop, the best choice. Dents, dings, major body repair. A freeloaner car, 'cause we really care. Jackson's Body Shop, downtown. Jackson's Body Shop, downtown. Call 647-6989 or Jackson.
The Big 1400 WJZM Radio, Clarksville area weather, partly sunny but cool. Don't be fooled by the sunshine. We expect a high later on today of around 58. Tonight, clear and cold. 39 for an overnight low. And Thursday, warmer, plenty of sunshine. Will reach a high of 70 degrees on Thursday. Currently, we're at 42 degrees in downtown Clarksville. With a look at Clarksville area traffic, here's John Michaels.
Traffic around the city and the county moving fairly smoothly this Wednesday morning. It is slow out on Tiny Town Road and Trenton Road at the moment. Looks like 41A Fort Campbell slow, especially out on the north side. 41A out in Sango, not too bad at the moment. 48 and 13 coming into the city from the county, not bad after you get past the Montgomery Central area. And if you're headed to Nashville, well, 24 looks pretty good this morning for a change. Let's check in with Commander Chuck and see what's going on with the Nashville area traffic.
Good morning. An accident being reported now on 24 westbound up through the Hickory Hollow area. They're just past OHB as you head up towards Hickory Hollow Parkway. A crash 2600 block of Murfreesboro Pike Bell Road on the entrance ramp there at 24 East. We saw that wreck a few minutes ago. And heavy out here where you would expect now 40 East, leaving Dixon headed towards Kingston Springs. Traffic is good for one thing, reaching your customers on billboards. Call Nashville's locally owned billboard company, Wingate Media, 595-8194. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
That's been a look at your traffic and weather together and the latest national news all here on the Big 1400 WJZM. It is 7:05. It's time now for the Wednesday edition of Good Morning Clarksville. Good morning, Chuck Edwards.
Governor, good morning.
Hello, governors.
It is a Wednesday. That means that it is a Governor Wednesday, which means that Bill Persinger from Austin Peay State University will be joining us this hour, but next hour during the 8 o'clock hour. But we're glad to be here on this 25th day of October. It happens to be a Wednesday, and some people will call it what?
Hump Day.
Don't hurt yourself. Good morning, Clarksville. 1400 WJZM Radio. Chuck Edwards, John Michaels, just getting started on this Wednesday, a Governor Wednesday.
Hello,
here
Governors.
on the Big 1400. Coming up, Sports Now Update with Justin Swallows at 7:20. Brought to you by Fox's Barbecue. Musically, we've got some Earth, Wind, and Fire on the way as well. It's Three Dog Night and the Starland Vocal Band.
Oh, I remember them.
During this hour.
A little Afternoon Delight.
A little Afternoon Delight. They only had one song, did they?
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, it was a good
song.
one.
Good song, though.
It was. I thought it was
like to go to
excellent.
the buffet.
Now, time now for birthdays.
Birthdays?
That's right. Katy Perry is 33. Of course, she's the new American Idol judge and one of many, 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 many ladies who's dated John Mayer. Josh Henderson is 36. He's John Ross Ewing on TNT's Dallas. Craig Robinson is 46. Daryl on The Office. And Delaney and Zach and Minnie make a porno. Dorman and himself in This Is the End.
Don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No.
This Is the End?
No.
Pedro Martinez, Hall of Fame baseball pitcher, won 3 Cy Youngs, is 46. Adam Goldberg, he was Mike Newhouse in Dazed and Confused. He also played Richard Saul in A Beautiful Mind. Did you ever see that movie, Beautiful Mind?
No.
What a great movie. That's one of my all-time favorite ones.
Well, I'll put that one down on my list.
Samantha Bee is 48. Yeah, you don't even need any subtitles with it.
Oh.
Chad Smith of the Red Hot Chili Peppers is 56. And Nancy Cartwright is 60. She's the voice of Bart Simpson, not to mention Nelson Muntz, Rod and Todd Flanders, and the amazing Ralph Wiggum. Taffy Danoff is 73. She is with the Starland Vocal Band.
Oh.
Yep. And John Anderson is 73. The only Yes lead singer who matters, although he and the band had a falling out. They now have a new singer. Now he's in a group called ARW, and 2 other former Yes men, guitarist Trevor Raven and keyboardist Rick Wakeman.
That's right.
Yeah.
He still sounds pretty good to be 73.
Yeah, I saw him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah, he still
James
sounds good.
Carville, Bill Clinton's boy, 73.
73.
Yep.
Wonder how old Mary Matlin is. Is she that old or
yeah,
younger?
she. I think she would probably be 68, 69.
Huh, boy.
Yeah. Because he was
Time
older
flies.
than her.
Yeah.
How do you think Helen Reddy is? Today's her birthday.
Let's see. Helen Reddy, I'm going to guess she's 75.
76.
Oh.
Bobby Knight is 77. And Marion Ross, Mrs. C, Marion
Mrs. Cunningham.
Cunningham on Happy Days is 89. And, of course, in memoriam, we lost Robert Guillaume from Benson.
Oh, that's right. Yesterday.
He died 89.
89
he was
years
89
old.
years old. Yeah,
Always
prostate
liked him.
cancer. Yes. 7 days to Halloween, 12 days until daylight savings time ends, 18 days to Veterans Day, and 10 days until the new movie Thor Ragnarok comes out, and 52 days until Star
There you
Wars
go. Now
The Last Jedi.
Now you're talking.
Now we're talking,
Now
Governor.
you're talking.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Star Wars. Man, it's not a good night to be standing
Well,
out
I
in
hope
line
Jimmy
to get...
had his raincoat on last night.
Or yesterday afternoon, and now tonight.
Hope he's got a sleeping bag that's warm.
I hope he had something that was warm. Somebody needs to take him some hot chocolate.
That's right.
I think so. I think you're right. For those standing in line to get their tickets to the new Star Wars movie, John's going to bring you some hot chocolate. We're going to put on a long song, and he's going to shoot out and go by and get
I don't know if there's one that long. I guess we could play some Isaac Hayes or...
Yeah.
That would work.
You know, we can just let's have an instant replay, right?
That's right. It's
The Big 1400. WJZM Radio. Right now it's 41 degrees in downtown Clarksville. WJZM Radio, headed up towards 7:20 when our Sports Now update comes along. You know, I was reading about back in the day, 62 years ago, 1955, the first microwave oven was sold by Tappan. You know how much it cost?
Probably about $400.
$1,200.
Oh, $1,200?
Yeah, but it could cook bacon in 90 seconds.
Remember people used to make fun of them, Quasar?
Yeah.
Quasar microwave.
That's okay. That's okay.
You know, I think I still got one. I don't know if it works.
Quasar?
Yeah, I got it put away in the basement just for old times' sake.
He collects things. He's ready for the apocalypse. Yeah.
I am.
39 years ago, 1978, John Carpenter's Halloween premiered in New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. And yes, Jamie Lee Curtis was in that.
She was in that movie?
Yes, she was. The original Halloween. And she's coming back in the
do it
sequel.
again?
Yeah, she's going to do it one more time. 26 years ago, 1991, rock promoter Bill Graham died at 60 in a helicopter crash while returning from Huey Lewis concert in Concord. Of course, Bill Graham was famous in the rock industry. He built the Fillmore Theaters, produced live concert and Amnesty International, and he was largely responsible for the San Francisco artist sound. Groups like Santana, Janis Joplin, and the Grateful Dead. 25 years ago, in 1992, Tiny Tim's ukulele was stolen from a Des Moines, Iowa hotel lobby. Oh, wait a minute. John. Remember, he visited the studios.
I have
Not the studio, these studios, the ones
on Madison Street. I have pictures.
Yeah, he came to visit, and he had his ukulele with him.
I might have to dig one out, and we'll put it online. Don't you want to see Jimmy in the morning standing with Tiny Tim?
We don't need that visual. I mean, just, you know, Tiny Tim and his ukulele. But he did find it, unfortunately.
Oh.
So, in the trash.
Boy, he was he was strange.
He was different. He was different.
Different.
Yes.
I guess that's a way to put it.
He was different. And 7 years ago, in 2010, Sony discontinued the production of the original cassette Walkman.
Oh, that was a sad
Man, I thought I was the coolest guy in the world.
Did you like yours?
Yeah.
Did you? Kind of like your iPod?
Thank you, John. Yeah. It's kind of like my iPod. But you know what? They're functional.
They are.
They do what they're supposed to do. And you know what that is?
Work. Play music.
They play music. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. kind of fudged a little bit with the Alan Parsons Project on the Big 1400. WJZM Radio. No, it was not Pink
I
Floyd.
thought that was Pink Floyd.
Wasn't any side of the moon. The Alan Parsons Project.
Well, I was holding on to my chair pretty tight while that was playing.
I know you were.
My knuckles. I was on
right
a
now we're at
ride.
Right now we're at 42 degrees. Expect a high today of 58. So it's going to be cool all day. 39 for an overnight low. And then Thursday, sunshine and warming up nicely to around 70 degrees. Ooh. I need to thank all the people that made the FCA banquet last night.
Yeah. How was that?
It was very, very well. Les Steckel was a great speaker, and Gary Rancorn and the group, all his staff, they did a very, very good job. And it was good seeing a lot of people that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
And
they have a good crowd?
They did. They had a great crowd, and the food was excellent.
Ooh. What did they have?
Chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, rolls, and they had different desserts.
You're making my stomach growl now.
But it was very good. It was very good. And so I have to thank Gary Rancorn and all the people at the Fellowship of Christian Athletes
all a good bunch.
For doing such a good job.
You know, they're nice people.
They are.
They are good people.
Yeah. Good people.
Good people.
Good folks. They're good folks.
Better than Little Bob.
Yeah. Time now for a Sports Now update with Justin Swallows, brought to you by Fox's Barbecue on the Big 1400.
This Sports Now update is presented by Fox's Barbecue. They're serving slow-smoked premium meats at 521 Heritage Point Drive.
For the first time in a while, the annual Clarksville-Montgomery County preseason high school basketball jamboree will not be taking place on campus over at Austin P. Instead, the event will take place on November the 9th, split between two separate locations. Girls and boys scrimmages will take place between West Creek and Clarksville Academy, along with Clarksville High and Northeast at Clarksville High. Meanwhile, Kenwood, Montgomery Central, Northwest, and Rossview will square off at Northwest High. The scrimmages will, as usual, consist of 2 8-minute quarters, and both participating teams will possess 1 full timeout. Now to Nashville, where over 700 local residents attended a public hearing last night on the proposed $275 million Major League Soccer stadium out at the fairgrounds. In such a large crowd, the consensus was surprisingly overwhelming in favor of the new venue. The stadium's financing under the city's current plan would include a $225 million bond package to be paid back via a 30-year lease agreement with the team's ownership group, along with a minimal ticket tax. Nashville's Metro Council is scheduled to vote on the proposal November the 7th. And staying in the Music City, the Nashville Predators lost another overtime heartbreaker last night, 3-2 against the Calgary Flames. The Preds jumped out to an early 2-0 lead following power play goals by Roman Josi and Philip Forsberg, but despite carrying that 2-zip lead into the final period, they lost to the Flames 3-2 in an eventual shootout. The loss marks Nashville's first home failure of the season. They'll now travel to Chicago for a game on Friday night before returning home on Saturday night to host the New York Islanders. From the WJZM Sports Desk, this is Sports Now, and I'm Justin Swallows.
Voted the #1 veteran-owned barbecue restaurant in America, Fox's Barbecue is proud to serve the greater Clarksville community. They host the weekly Blues and Barbecue concert every Saturday night from 5 to 7 p.m. Whether you're hungry for chicken, ribs, pulled pork, or brisket, Fox's Barbecue is the right choice. They offer all-you-can-eat selections every Wednesday and Thursday night, as well as catering and delivery. Call them to cater your next event at 931-896-2678. Or better yet, go see them at 521 Heritage Point Drive, just off from Tiny Town Road.
The Big 1400 WJZM Radio Sports Now update comes your way next hour at 8:20 on the Big 1400. Brought to you by Power and Grace Preparatory Academy. Here's Afternoon Delight.
Find my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna grab some afternoon.
Civic 1400, WJZM Radio. Chuck and John on the Wednesday edition of Good Morning Clarksville. Right now we're at 42 degrees. Expect a high today, a cool high of 58, but sunshine, no mention of any rain. Down tonight to around 39, and then tomorrow 70 for a high. Ought to be nice. You know, we're talking about, I told you about, I went to the FCA banquet, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes banquet last night at First Baptist Church. First Baptist, great host. I appreciate Pastor Riley.
Stickle's not working right now, is he?
I'm sorry?
Les Stickle, is he employed at the moment?
No, he just he makes the speaking.
Reckon he could find a job?
Well, you know, I was thinking, he said that he's had some offers to come back and coach in the NFL. And I was saying, I know a job that you could get. You wouldn't even have to leave the state. And it will pay 5 times more than what the NFL is asking you. And it's just right up the road.
True.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't think he's interested.
You don't think he'd take it?
No, I don't think so. I think he likes, you know, just he's done his due, and I think he enjoys, you know, just taking it easy. You know, we're talking about how good the food was last night.
Yeah.
I read a survey of what's the worst taste in the world.
Something sour?
Well, I was thinking of that because, you know, we're a week, almost a week from Halloween. Well, it's really 6 days, you know, from Halloween.
True.
And
asparagus is the worst taste in the world.
No, well, I didn't see this. Asparagus might have been on the list, but it wasn't. It did not make the top 5. But you know, some of the things they asked some experts on taste. Yes. These people are experts on taste, on senses, on psychology, and neuroscience for their nominees for the worst tasting thing that you could eat. Now, even though there was no unanimous winner, there are some best candidates that they mentioned. Number 1, sheep brains.
Yeah, that might not be too good. Even though I do like pork brains. Brains and eggs. With some black pepper on it.
You don't put no Fritos in there?
No, just some black pepper.
Walrus fat.
That doesn't sound good.
Now, walrus fat that's been buried underground, and they buried underground for months so it can ferment. And apparently, some native people in Alaska eat that walrus fat. Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, I like Brussels sprouts.
I can go with Brussels sprouts.
I call them little cabbage heads.
Vegemite.
Vegemite sandwich.
Yeah, probably not. I never had one. I don't even know what it is. But I heard it doesn't taste very good.
No, not like Nutella.
Yeah. Natto, which is a Japanese dish made from fermented soybeans. Endive.
Pass.
Endive. You know, endive lettuce, you know, it has that kind of bitter taste to it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And this was a surprise. Black licorice.
Yeah, people don't like it.
Yeah, but those that do like it love it.
That's right.
So those are just a couple of...
But asparagus did not make the list.
Not the top 10. Not the top 10.
It's got to be number 11.
Yeah, you know, and there are probably other things that you can think of that, man, I love the taste of pickled beets. A lot of people don't like beets. You know, they don't like beets.
No beets.
But then, anyway.
The only beets I have are by Dr. Dre.
Yeah. Yeah. Those aren't edible. Those are not edible.
Oh.
A little later on, we'll talk about some superstitions, the 10 most common superstitions as we get close to Halloween. Everybody's talking about superstitions.
Don't walk under the ladder.
Yeah. The Big 1400, WJZM Radio. We need to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
It's the 2017 Model Year-End event at Matthews Nissan. Voted the best place to buy a car at the Best of Clarksville Awards. 700 new and used. Get a new 2017 Altima 2.5S. $16,977. What a deal. 0% APR financing on new 2017 Rogue, new Armada, new Titan, and new Frontier with approved credit. 2017 Versa S Plus. $10,977. Choose the 2017 Truck Trend Pickup Truck of the Year. A new Nissan Titan. And they all come with a 5-year, 100,000-mile bumper-to-bumper limited warranty. Military pay no tax and get extra incentives. Auto credit challenged? We can help. Hurry to Harold Matthews Nissan or MatthewsNissan.com. You're going to love our prices. Stock number 108611 HC 254841 HL 893396. All prices plus tax, title, and license. $657 processing fee included. Dealer to retain Nissan cash. Military offer restricted to full-time personnel stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, or Tennessee-based military facilities. Ends 10/31/17. Source ClarksvilleNow.com. 10/2017.
Ever lost or misplaced your debit card? Now, before that happens, download the Card Valet mobile app. With it, you can turn your F&M debit card on and off, establish when, where, and how it is used, and much more. And best of all, it's free. From F&M Bank, member FDIC.
Jackson's Body Shop, downtown. Jackson's Body Shop, downtown. It's your car, it's your voice. Jackson's Body Shop, the best choice. Dents, dings, major body repair. A freeloaner car, 'cause we really care. Jackson's Body Shop, downtown. Jackson's Body Shop, downtown. Call 647-6989 or Jackson's.
The Big 1400 is WJZM, Clarksville, Fort Campbell, Hopkinsville.
Cooking for large groups is exhausting, and it saps the fun out of hosting parties and events. Let your friends at the Lunchbox do the cooking next time with carry-out catering for small family gatherings up to large company outings. Whether you want barbecue and sides, hot dogs and chips, or homemade chili, the Lunchbox has the food for your next party covered. Call them today at 931-802-8227. Or better yet, go sample their extensive menu at 2124 Woodlawn Road. Fresh ingredients become delicious homemade meals at the Lunchbox, Clarksville's new favorite eatery.
Looking for a new golf experience? Tired of playing the same old courses? Try Clarksville's newest golf course, the River Club Golf and Learning Center, located along the Red River. The picturesque River Club offers some of the area's best golf, putting greens, and driving ranges. And while you're there, stop by and have lunch in the clubhouse or enjoy some live music in the evenings. It's open to the public and waiting for you. The River Club Golf and Learning Center, Clarksville's premier golf experience. Call the River Club of Clarksville today for more information. 931-919-3200. The River Club of Clarksville.
Take advantage of end-of-year savings at Bobcat of Clarksville. We have as low as 0% financing and low monthly lease payments on Bobcat loaders, excavators, and Doosan heavy equipment. Need rental equipment or attachments? Give us a call, 931-436-9555, or find us online, bobcatofclarksville.com. Don't forget to stop by our open house for lunch on Friday, October 27th. Bobcat of Clarksville on Alfred Thune Road, Clarksville. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
The Big 1400 WJZM Radio, where we're just ahead of Bob Kessling's Vol Network Notebook at 7:50 this morning, brought to you by Copies in a Flash on the Big 1400. Sad news, after over 100 years, Sears will no longer sell Whirlpool appliances because of a dispute between the companies over pricing. And Sears will no longer sell appliances by any other manufacturers because nobody shops at Sears anymore. When was the last time you were in Sears?
Maybe about 5 years ago.
See?
Probably.
And they used to be, I mean, the Sears Roebuck Christmas, they messed up by not continuing the Christmas catalog. And they might still have a Christmas catalog. But, you know, the ones, those big, thick rascals that you get in the mail and you can sit there and, you know, put an X by what you wanted.
Oh, yeah, the Christmas catalog was always a big hit.
Christmas, it was. Everybody looked. That meant the official season for Christmas.
It was.
It was.
I liked it.
But anyway, so hold on, Sears.
They'll be all right.
Yeah. I mean, they still sell, I'm sure they'll sell their product of
Kenmore. Yeah.
Yeah, Kenmore. Yeah. The Big 1400, WJZM Radio, Chuck and John, the Wednesday edition. It is Governor Wednesday with Earth, Wind, and Fire. big 1400 WJZM radio. Clarksville area weather, partly sunny, cool today. Expect a high of around 58. Clear and cool tonight. 39 for an overnight low. Did you cut on the heat last night, your place?
Nope, not yet.
He's tough. Yeah, I love that pioneer spirit with John Michaels. You know, life is good. He doesn't need the heat on. All he has to do is sit in front of the TV, watch those Thailand movies with all their subtitles, and get him a bag with Fritos and a bottle of hot sauce and a daddy soda.
And I'm good to go.
Roxy comes, curls up in the chair next to him.
I'm good to go.
And life is good.
That's right.
Life is good. We expect a high tomorrow around 70, so you won't need the heat tomorrow.
Good.
Overnight low of 54 tomorrow night. And then Friday, cloudy most of the time with periods of rain light mainly in the afternoon. Ooh. 66 for a high. Football Friday night might be wet and cool. Ooh. Expect an overnight low of 39. Right now we're at 42 degrees in downtown Clarksville. Well, according to a new survey, survey says more than 80% of people say something bad has happened to them because they broke one of the laws of superstition. You know, like letting a black cat walk in front of them or breaking a mirror. So, which superstitions are we most likely to follow? Here are the top 10. Number 10, avoiding the number 13. Number 9, not telling anyone your wish after you blow out the birthday candles. I ain't telling you.
No.
I ain't telling you. I don't know. It won't come true if I tell you. Not opening an umbrella inside. Now, these are the top 10 most common superstitions.
How do you get outside and stay dry if you don't open it before you go out the door? If you wait till you go out the door and then open your umbrella, you're already wet.
Well, you partially open it on your way out. You know, you don't open it fully.
How do you partially open it and hold it over your head?
Well, how you going to get it out the door if you open it up inside? A fully open umbrella? You see, the dilemma is this.
I guess.
You know, either you get a little sprinkle.
How big of an umbrella it is.
Bigger.
It's a
golf umbrella.
Well.
Golf umbrellas.
Well, then you can open it inside.
Top 10 most common superstitions. Throwing salt over your shoulder after you spill it. Now, you know, any of these that hit home with you, let me know.
Okay.
All right. Breaking a wishbone and making a wish.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay. Picking up a penny on the ground for luck. No. Number 5, okay? Crossing your fingers.
No.
Number 4. Number 3, saying bless you when you hear someone sneeze.
That I do.
You don't say gesundheit?
It just depends.
Oh, okay. Number 2, knocking on wood.
Knock on wood. No. Yeah. I have.
And avoiding walking under a ladder is number 1.
Huh. I've walked under enough of them.
Yeah, so
they usually fall on my head. So
I try to avoid walking under ladders, not because I think it's superstitious, but because
dangerous.
If a ladder's there and somebody's up on it, I don't want whatever whether there's a can of paint or a brick or whatever,
hammer and some nails.
Head.
Yeah.
If they give me a hard hat, I might walk up on it, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to stand away from it.
I've crossed my fingers, and I do say bless you when someone sneezes. I'm not a big knock on wood fan, and I have broke a wishbone before, and I have picked up a penny. Now, the penny, there's a thing. If it's heads, and if it's tails, you leave it, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's right. It's one of them. I don't know.
Can you write this down for me so I know what to do?
Yeah, I'll do that.
I want to know what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. The Big 1400, WJZM Radio. Chuck and John, it is the Wednesday edition. It is Governor Wednesday on the Big 1400. 1400 WJZM Radio. Chuck and John on this Wednesday. It is Governor Wednesday, and we expect Bill Persinger from Austin Peay State University to join us during the 8 o'clock hour as we'll be talking about everything. Yeah, that's right. The great, he better be glad he got back from Montana or where did he go? South Dakota?
I don't know. Somewhere out west.
I was looking at the weather, and they're expecting snow.
Oh, he may not
all
be
those
back.
Places.
He may have Cody again.
I think he came back.
He could have got snowed in.
He could have.
He'll be eating that elk.
I think that oftentimes there's some people who sit around and their only thing in life is that they come up with, I think I'll work on something like this to help mankind.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Here we go.
There's some inventions that you wonder, I'm not sure if this invention needs to exist. But since it does, we might as well get on with it.
You got something you're going to run by me?
The Japanese company Nissan makes instant noodles like Top Ramen and Cup noodles. Yeah.
I like ramen noodles.
Yeah. Everybody has. Well, I think most people have had any experience with ramen noodles.
Yeah.
And they've invented a noise-canceling fork that eliminates your slurping sounds when you eat ramen noodles.
Well, that's part of the fun.
I don't know what is the deal? I mean,
you got to make a little noise.
Now, this fork looks like an electric toothbrush, but with a fork on the end instead of the bristles on the brush.
Well.
And when you use it, it sends a signal to an app on your smartphone to play white noise, which covers up the slurping sound that you're making. That's a lot of trouble to eat ramen noodles. Plus, it costs $130.
And the ramen noodles, you can get 5 packs for $1. Why
would they mess with a perfectly good pack of ramen noodles? And like John said, that's part of the fun. I mean, that's slurping sound and the slaps all up against your face and your glasses and all. That's why I wear a bib. I wear a bib when I eat ramen noodles.
I just slurp them all up.
I don't want to get all that stuff on my shirt, but
turn that bowl up and just drink it.
Yeah, there it is. But, that just goes to show you there's some people, $130, it costs $130. So we'll see.
I don't believe they will sell many of those. If ramen noodles were $500 for a pack, they might.
I don't know. But there's some people who feel like they have to have everything. Even if they never use it. They just have to have it because they can say they got it.
Do you want one?
Negative, Ghost Rider. No. Time now for the Ball Network Notebook with Bob Kessling. Brought to you by Copies in a Flash on the Big 1400.
Very high level for the Tennessee defense. This is the Ball Network Notebook. Brought to you by your local Farmers Co-op. Co-op, proudly farming Big Orange Country. Tennessee defensive back Rashawn Golden has played at an all-SEC level all season. One of the leading tacklers on the team from his nickelback position, he forced a fumble in the Alabama game and broke up 2 passes. Golden said he's looking to be a leader on this team and trying to end the losing streak and get ready for Kentucky.
I'm trying to do everything I can in the frameworks of our defense to, be at the right place at the right time and just give my all for my teammates each and every time I get to have an opportunity to go play this, amazing game.
Golden drew national attention, though, for his gesture to the Alabama student section after a Tennessee touchdown Saturday in Tuscaloosa. He said he regrets the decision and the action.
I had a very bad and sportsmanlike conduct, which, I apologize for that, to University of Tennessee and Alabama for that one. And, that's just something I'm not, brought up about, and it's just something I really regret.
Rashawn Golden looking to provide leadership and get the Tennessee team back on track Saturday against Kentucky. On football Saturdays at Neyland Stadium, it takes a team effort for the balls to drive down the field and into the checkerboard end zone for a touchdown. It also takes countless hours of practice beforehand to familiarize each player with his assignment. Your locally owned co-op is a trusted teammate to farmers from Union City to Mountain City. The roster made up of men and women providing unmatched service and expertise to help folks score a victory with their crops, livestock, garden, and much more. Co-op, proudly farming Big Orange Country. Tennessee has lost offensive lineman Jack Jones for the rest of the season as a result of a neck and shoulder injury. Guard Jashawn Robertson, who left the Alabama game with an injury, should be ready to play Saturday against Kentucky. The Vols and the UK Wildcats kick off at 7:30 Saturday night in Lexington. Reporting for the Vol Network, I'm Bob Kessler.
Copies in a Flash is your one-stop copy design and print supercenter. If you're looking for letterheads, carbonless forms, envelopes, address labels, or anything to do with print, your local Copies in a Flash can handle it all in a flash. Stop in and see Copies in a Flash at 1841 Business Park Drive in Clarksville and see how they can help you on your next project. Copies in a Flash offers free delivery. Visit Copies in a Flash and see all of their offerings at copiesinaflash.com. That's copiesinaflash.com. Copies in a Flash is proud to support our community and say go Big Orange.
The Big 1400, WJZM Radio, Chuck and John. It is a Governor Wednesday on the Big 1400. Did you know that Japan has more 7-Elevens than any other country in the world?
No, I did not.
About 16,000. The U.S. has about half of that. Big 1400 WJZM Radio. 42 degrees in downtown Clarksville. We'll take an extended look at our weather forecast after this update in national news.
The Big 1400 is WJZM, Clarksville, Fort Campbell, Hopkinsville.
This news flash brought to you by Heritage Bank. We are open for business. Your business. Bankwithheritage.com.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The Democratic National Committee in Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign helped fund a political research firm that produced a dossier of allegations about President Trump's ties to Russia. That's according to a person familiar with the situation who spoke to the Associated Press. That revelation is sure to fuel complaints from the president that the dossier is, as he's been saying, a politically motivated collection of salacious claims. A sheriff spokesman says a student and his friend were fatally shot on the campus at Grambling State University last night. It all happened around midnight, according to the State University Media Relations Director, Will Sutton.
One is was a student, Earl Andrews, 23, a senior from Farmerville, which is a town not too far from Grambling. And the other, Monquarius Caldwell, also 23, not a student, but a friend of his.
Meanwhile, the suspected gunman is still at large. Arizona Republican Senator Jeff Flake has delivered a bombshell announcement on Capitol Hill saying he will not seek re-election.
Taking direct aim at President Donald Trump without actually using his name, Senator Flake described what he termed a flagrant disregard of truth and decency, even as he bemoaned political complicity.
And so, Mr. President, I will not be complicit or silent.
Saying he could not abide by the impulse to threaten and scapegoat under the current administration.
I've decided that I would be better able to represent the people of Arizona and to better serve my country and my conscience by freeing myself of the political consideration that consumed far too much bandwidth.
Senator Flake does say he intends to serve out his term. Linda Kenyon, Capitol Hill.
Looking to Wall Street right now, it could be a slow start with Dow futures off by just about 1 point following yesterday's 168-point gain. NASDAQ futures right now are down by just about 11, and S&P 500 futures are off by 4 points. This is SRN News. The State Fair of Texas just wrapped up, and the Gospel Outreach booth again shared the good news of Jesus Christ with thousands of fair visitors. While many welcomed the message of eternal life through Christ's life, death, burial, and resurrection, this man pointed to himself after being asked this question.
If he stood before God and he asked you why he should let you into heaven. My answer is I earned it. You earned it? Yeah. Oh, okay. But that's not what the Bible says. It's not earning it. We can't earn our way. Sorry.
After this fair visitor was asked the status of his soul, he said,
my soul's already gone, so yeah.
Where'd it go?
Who knows? Don't ask me difficult questions.
The repo man came.
Yeah, the repo man came and picked it up.
When he and his friends were told that Jesus is in the repo business of redeeming people's lost souls, they said they would consider the message. 2.6 million people attended the State Fair of Texas each year, and many of them getting an opportunity perhaps to hear the gospel for the first time in many years. This is SRN News. FBI Director Christopher Wray says that they haven't been able to retrieve data for more than half of the mobile devices they've tried to access in less than a year.
Wray says in the first 11 months of the fiscal year, federal agents were unable to access the content of more than 6,900 mobile devices, and he called it a huge, huge problem. He believes it impacts investigations across the board, such as narcotics, human trafficking, counterterrorism, and other problems. The long-simmering debate was on display in 2016 when the Justice Department tried to force Apple to unlock an encrypted cell phone used by a gunman in a terrorist attack in San Bernardino, California. Keith Peters reporting.
New York has joined other states like California, Connecticut, and New Jersey in barring e-cigarettes from being fired up in public or indoor settings. A rule would add e-cigarettes to the list of banned devices at places like restaurants, bars, and amongst most who work indoors. More details at srnnews.com.
Loans. Heritage Bank. Those are the only 3 words you need to know if you need a car or boat or RV or storage building or pool or new garage or lawnmower or four-wheeler or vacation. Or, well, you get the picture, right? Picture yourself with a loan from Heritage Bank and that special something that you've been wanting. Call or stop by your local Heritage Bank office today. Loans from Heritage Bank.
NMLS number 431499. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Bankwithheritage.com.
The Big 1400 WJZM Radio Clarksville area weather, partly sunny, cool today. Expect a high around 58. Clear and cold tonight, 39 for an overnight low. Tomorrow, warmer, plenty of sunshine. Expect a high of 70 degrees. Currently, we're at 42 degrees in downtown Clarksville. With a look at traffic, here's John Michaels.
Good morning. Traffic around the city and the county moving along this morning. It is busy out on the north side, out at 41A, headed to Fort Campbell this morning. New Providence Boulevard, also very busy. Looks like 48 and 13. If you're coming into the city, it's fairly busy out by Liberty Park. 41A out in Sango is busy in a couple of spots due to all the construction in that area. Riverside Drive, New Providence Boulevard, College Street, all busy at the moment. Tiny Town Road also looks to be busy. And the MLK 76 connector is busy out by the interstate. Now, if you are headed to Nashville this morning, it does look good. All the way into the Music City, let's check in with Commander Chuck and see what's going on with the Nashville area traffic.
Well, good morning. It's still running slower than normal here, leaving Dixon County on 40 eastbound here at the 180-mile marker. Due to this road work, hopefully they'll have it wrapped up at some point, but what a slowdown this morning for folks trying to get out of Dixon. It's also still bumper-to-bumper 65 south at Trinity Lane, a crash Larkin Springs at Neely's Bend, Whites Creek Pike at Eaton's Creek still getting some attention at that intersection. Dr. Elizabeth Baker in Maryland Farms Chiropractic specializes in headaches. Call 309-8279. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
That's been a look at your traffic and weather together and the latest national news brought to you by Heritage Bank on the Big 1400 WJZM. It is 8:07, and that means it's time now for hour number 2 of Good Morning Clarksville. Good morning, Chuck Edwards.
Good morning again, John Michaels. It is hour number 2. It is our Governor Wednesday.
Hello, governors.
Yes, right. We have Bill Persinger and Carol Clark from Austin Peay State University. They're going to spend some time with us during the 8 o'clock hour. We're going to talk all things Austin Peay. Everything about Austin Peay that you were afraid to ask Bill, the great white hunter, from Colorado. He comes in with his elk pelt jacket on, just to show,
he's eating an elk burger.
That's eating an elk burger, and
elk fries.
Yeah, he's got some
elk shake.
He's got some seasoning, that you can put on your
elk
corn.
Seasoning
that you can put on. Yeah,
make your corn taste like elk.
That's right. Make your corn taste like elk. But we'll be talking with them. Thank you for being here this morning on the Big 1400 WJZM. 100 WJZM Radio, 42 degrees. Expect a high of 58. It is Governor Wednesday, and that means that each Wednesday we have someone from Austin Peay State University. Usually it's Bill Persinger. He comes over from Austin Peay, and here he is. He's the great white hunter, and he's back from his safari to Colorado, and he comes back bearing gifts. No gifts. Empty-handed. The geese or the moose or the elk outsmarted him. They outsmarted you this time, didn't they?
They're smarter than I am.
You know what? They knew you were coming.
They did.
There was a moose alert. You know, the animals, they could, you know, they communicate with one another.
That's right.
And you know, they got the word out, you know, hey, Persinger's calling his way. You know, he's driving out to Colorado. Be on the lookout.
My biggest frustration is squirrels. Squirrels will get up on a tree and spot you and start chattering. It lets everybody know you're
Let everybody. And then how do they dance across those wires so good? Well, I mean, you know, they got great balance. You know, and they dance across the wires, and you know. But do you squirrel hunt too?
No, I don't squirrel hunt.
Oh, I just wondered. Anyway, you've been doing okay though.
I've been doing well.
You made it back in time for some of the homecoming last week, right?
Well, we rolled back in early Saturday morning, so
Okay.
We were wiped out. It's a 2-day drive to where we go, and so we do this ourselves and drive out and drive back, and so we were pretty wiped out. So I didn't make homecoming. I got to see the.
I took your
last
place.
half. Well, I appreciate that.
I took your place.
I hear you.
And we won.
Rep this well.
Well, you know, I didn't get arrested. You know, there was a time, you know, at homecoming at Austin Peay. It's changed so much.
It has.
And I understand that. But my wife and I and some friends that we got a chance to see who we went to school with, we all just kept talking about how college has changed so much at Austin Peay. And but it was fun. I was glad to be a part of it. So anyway, so you brought with us Carol Clark.
I brought Carol Clark. She's the
Executive Assistant to the President for Community and Government Relations. Whew, that's a mouthful. I read that. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Good. You know, see, she's a natural, John. I mean, she's been here before. I mean, you've been on the radio. I mean, you just slid right in, pull that mic up, and you're ready to go, you know. So tell us what the Executive Assistant to the President for Community and Government Relations does.
I'll be glad to. One of my primary roles now is to serve as the primary liaison with the Tennessee General Assembly when they are in session in Nashville. As Austin Peay and the other former TBR universities obtained their own Board of Trustees, we needed to have a presence in Nashville so that the legislative offices there would know who to contact at Austin Peay if they needed information, and we could stay informed on things that were happening in the legislature.
So you spend a great deal of your time in Nashville?
During the session, I spend some time there. This year was the first year for this evolution, actually, because our board became official the end of March. So next year during the session, I'll spend some more time there. But it's been a good year to see what's going on and you know, establish and maintain those connections.
So what does that actually mean, our connection with the state legislature?
Well, the state legislature is the entity.
I know they give us money.
They give us money. They also have a great interest, appropriately so, in the outcome from the higher education institutions, because we are producing the future leaders and workforce for the state of Tennessee. And so when we think about how we want the state to grow and succeed and opportunities for our citizens, the legislature is looking to the higher ed institutions to do a good job in providing those resources.
Okay, Carol, I'm going to ask you a question in a minute, but let me set the stage for this. Basically, all the other schools have someone like you on their staff also?
Yes. At this point, yes, that is correct.
And they all gather in Nashville, right? And if we did not have you as our presence in Nashville with the state legislature, you know, making sure that we get our fair share we might not get our fair share. Is that correct?
It's important that we have a voice there and that they know how to contact the university and the president. And so she is also there when appropriate. We're really fortunate in our community that we have a legislative delegation that is highly engaged with the university.
Highly engaged. You heard that, John. They're highly engaged. That means they're active.
Yes, sir.
Pushing Austin Peay. And that's a good thing, Carol, that we have someone, who's looking out for Austin Peay and our best interest as we continue to grow. Because Austin Peay is booming. We talk about that all the time, Bill, about how the enrollment is up. And so that's a good thing, right?
There's a lot of good things happening on campus. In addition to the increased enrollment, there are programs that we have at the university that people may not be aware of. And Bill and his staff do a great job of trying to get that information out through as many different avenues as they can. But there are definitely a lot of great things happening at Austin Peay. The future's very bright.
That's a good thing, that we being on campus. Y'all have a day next week. Do y'all have an Austin Peay Day next week? When is
we have it on
one?
the 4th. I believe is that next week?
Yeah, next Friday.
November 4th. Yes.
Yeah, next. No, that's Saturday. Next Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's coming up. Great way to kind of get an insight of Austin Peay. If you haven't been on campus, we have tours. You get to see all dorms, campus life, and just get the experience.
It was interesting walking on campus last week during homecoming, and we were looking at the buildings that are still there, Ellington Hall and Miller Hall, and everything else is gone. We used to live there, nothing, but they've got these, brand new dorms and buildings up now. So
yeah, if you hadn't been on campus in the last, I'd say 8 to 10 years, it's there's parts of campus you will not even recognize. We're really grown.
Yeah, and you have we got a chance while I have a chance, and it was on my mind. I was going to mention. I got a chance to hear the volleyball player Ali Shea. I forgot. Someone at our table told us that she could probably be the athlete of the year at Austin Peay. She's that good. She's a volleyball player.
Yeah.
But she gave a testimony at the FCA banquet last night. And she was very nice, and it was good. And the reason I brought that up because in that volleyball match this Friday, or is it next Friday? When's the next
I haven't
match?
looked at the schedule, so I'd have to.
Either way, I know that they're in first place.
Yeah.
And they have a match coming up. And basketball next Friday, the 4th, they have a basketball match. Is that an exhibition?
I believe it's an exhibition. Yes.
Yeah. Is that the night that the volleyball? Or was that last week? That was last week. Okay. Anyway, so back to Carol. So as the executive assistant to the president, do we need to take a break first before? As the executive assistant to the president for community and governmental affairs, you spend some of your time in D.C. You interact with the state legislators. How did you get into this? You didn't start out doing this. How did you get into this?
I've actually been at Austin Peay since 2001.
Okay.
And I was the director of the Small Business Development Center there for a couple of years. And then when President Sherry Hoppy posted a position for an executive assistant in her office, I applied for that position and have been there since about 2003 in the president's office. Over time, that role has changed and evolved depending upon the needs of the university and the opportunities that are there.
But that's a good thing.
It's
and
a
it
great
should
thing.
evolve.
It's a great
like
thing.
That. Because, it can't stay stagnant. It's got to be fluid. Yeah.
I've had the opportunity to work with 3 university presidents, and the community piece really just seemed to be a natural thing because after that much time at the university and being involved in the community, a lot of people would call me if they needed to know something about the university, needed help with something, or had a great idea that they wanted to share with us. And so quite often I'm the conduit to take that information to the person at the university who can best address that opportunity or that situation.
Yeah, being able to point people in the right direction, Carol, to me, or who to see, what office this needs to go through, that has evolved too. because, you know, we've got people like Bill, who's in director of marketing, and, you know, we got people in sports, and we got the, you know, computer labs and all of those, the science building, and having those things, the community relations as Austin Peay continues to just grow and grow. Its footprint in downtown Clarksville is just, you know, growing extensively. And that's something that freaks a lot of people out in the community. Look, that's part of Austin Peay now, you know, where the old Jenkins and Wynn facilities used to be. So being able to coordinate all of that and plus spend time in Nashville, that gives you a couple of hats to wear.
There's never a dull moment. And acquiring the property across College Street and on the same side of College Street as our original campus has been a great opportunity for the university. And I know people are really curious to find out what will be happening with that property, and there's a very strategic planning process that's taking place to make sure we use that resource very wisely, because it's something that doesn't happen very often. So Bill will be sharing news about that over the coming months and years, I'm sure.
Yes, we have just had a meeting yesterday on some of that planning. So there's more to come. I can't talk about it yet, but
why not?
Big things happening.
Come on, Bill. We're not going to tell anybody. I promise you, we won't tell anybody. We need to take a break. Time now for a Sports Now update with Justin Swallows, brought to you by Power and Grace Preparatory Academy on the Big 1400.
This Sports Now update is presented by Power and Grace Preparatory Academy. Now enrolling students in pre-K through 3rd grade online at powerandgraceacademy.com.
For the first time in a while, the annual Clarksville-Montgomery County preseason high school basketball jamboree will not be taking place on campus over at Austin Peay. Instead, the event will take place on November the 9th, split between 2 separate locations. Girls and boys scrimmages will take place between West Creek and Clarksville Academy, along with Clarksville High and Northeast at Clarksville High. Meanwhile, Kenwood, Montgomery Central, Northwest, and Rossview will square off at Northwest High. The scrimmages will, as usual, consist of 2 8-minute quarters, and both participating teams will possess 1 full timeout. Now to Nashville, where over 700 local residents attended a public hearing last night on the proposed $275 million Major League Soccer stadium out at the fairgrounds. In such a large crowd, the consensus was surprisingly overwhelming in favor of the new venue. The stadium's financing under the city's current plan would include a $225 million bond package to be paid back via a 30-year lease agreement with the team's ownership group, along with a minimal ticket tax. Nashville's Metro Council is scheduled to vote on the proposal November the 7th. And staying in the Music City, the Nashville Predators lost another overtime heartbreaker last night, 3-2 against the Calgary Flames. The Preds jumped out to an early 2-0 lead following power play goals by Roman Josi and Philip Forsberg, but despite carrying that 2-zip lead into the final period, they lost to the Flames 3-2 in an eventual shootout. The loss marks Nashville's first home failure of the season. They'll now travel to Chicago for a game on Friday night before returning home on Saturday night to host the New York Islanders. From the WJZM Sports Desk, this is Sports Now, and I'm Justin Swallows.
With the Christ-centered curriculum and a high expectation for academic mastery, Power and Grace Preparatory Academy has set the gold standard for elementary learning. Certified by the Tennessee Department of Education, they've extended their offerings to include music, art, and Spanish. Additionally, students will be participating in STEAM Fridays, emphasizing science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Before and after care is available, spanning from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and enrollment is open for children in pre-K through the 3rd grade. For more info, visit powerandgraceacademy.com or call 931-320-9862.
The Big 1400, WJZM Radio, where your Sports Now update comes your way at 9:20 this morning with Justin, and it's brought to you by Culver's of Clarksville, home of the Butter Buns on the Big 1400. We're talking with Bill Persinger from Austin Peay State University, and Carol Clark. She's the executive assistant to the president of Austin Peay State University for Community and Government Relations. And we're talking about, you were telling me off mic that you're the chair, or you're the chair for the Military Education Task Force?
Yes, sir. Austin Peay.
Don't say sir to me.
Yes, Chuck.
Thank you.
Yes, Chuck. Austin Peay, not surprisingly, has a very large population of veterans and military-connected students. Yes, in our community, that's not a surprise. In spring 2016, we actually had over 2,000 veterans enrolled at Austin Peay, and about 1 in 4 of our students are military connected, either active duty service member, veteran, Guard, Reserve, or family member of one of those categories. So several years ago, President Tim Hall recognized that there were things that we could do as a university to support and facilitate those students as they pursued their education, either during their active service or after their service or as a family member. So we do have a military education task force that meets regularly and looks at things that we're doing on campus that facilitate student success, or things that we could be doing to help those students be more successful in their academic career.
You know, Carol, it was, interestingly enough, and we talked about it before, Bill, about the what we call non-traditional students,
right,
and that population at Austin Peay State University. And with the military, they're non-traditional students, but we also have non-military, non-traditional students. But a non-traditional military student is a lot different than a non-traditional, like a regular student.
Well, one thing I share with people when we talk about student veterans in particular is that student veterans have two things in common. They are students and they are veterans. They have served. But otherwise, they are as diverse as any other group of students on our campus as far as age, educational level, when they start the university, their family circumstances, their time in service, and so forth. So that military service aspect is something that they alone have experienced, and that does make them a bit different as far as their life experiences from another non-traditional student.
Is this military task force something that works all year round, or?
It does work all year round. It is composed of staff who are there all year, sometimes faculty. We have student veterans representatives on there, and we meet regularly and look at how things are going and what we could be doing.
Moving ahead. So we've got Veterans Day coming up, of course, on November 11th. And, you know, Veterans Day, because of the proximity of Fort Campbell, because we, you know, Clarksville has such a great military veteran population. We have, with the Veterans Day parades coming up, they've already announced plans for that. But do you all have some things that are going on leading up to Veterans Day? Is that right?
We do have some things going on leading up to Veterans Day. We have quite a few things that are focused on our student veterans, things like a lunch for veterans who are students, faculty, or staff that is sponsored by our Student Veterans Organization and Chartwells, which is our campus food service contractor. We also have on November 9th a really cool event that's open to the public. It's called Showcasing Our Veterans, an art exhibition and information fair that will be in the Morgan University Center, and that is coordinated by a program called Vet Success on Campus.
So that would be, they'll be able to show whatever medium they work in, I guess, pastel colors. Yeah, is that right?
Any
Sculpture,
medium, yep. Any artwork, yep. Whether it's hand or digital or otherwise.
And we'll actually also be including this year a display of plates that were created earlier in the year through a partnership with our art faculty and some individuals in our counseling program, in the program that teaches our students to be professional counselors. So that's going to be something that's open to the public, and we'll have that information on our website very soon if it's not already up, I'm sure.
So, and how long will this run?
This will be one day, November 9th.
Just one day?
9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the Morgan University Center.
Okay.
That's a very cool thing.
Okay.
During the year, in addition to the special activities that we have, we do some things on campus that people may not be aware of to support our veteran students.
So let me interrupt you by saying these are open to the public.
That event is definitely open to the public.
Open to the public.
Free and open to the public at the Morgan University Center. They've done this for several years. It's very interesting to see the artwork, and as you mentioned, it's several different media. And so we do encourage people to come out and see that.
That'll be nice. And it'll be interesting to see, you know, the different mediums that they work in,
Yes.
display their wares. And we think about, you know, the drawings, and we think about the sculpture, and as digital medium. At the Morgan University Center, November 9th.
November 9th.
Okay.
9 to 4.
All right. What else?
Thanks, Chuck. Before I talk about the finale event, I wanted to just take a minute, if I could, and talk about some of the things that we have all year long to help support our student veterans in their quest for education. We have a military student center on campus. It is...
Yeah. Didn't she come?
Jasmine was here about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, good. Then I don't need to tell you a whole lot about that.
Refresh our memory, because she was very good and she was very nice. She's a veteran,
yes,
correct?
sir.
And she was telling us.
Yes, Chuck.
There you go again. She was telling us about. Refresh our memory with the center.
Yes, Jasmine Linares is the coordinator of that center. As you mentioned, she is a veteran, and that is a place where our veterans and military-connected students, and really any student who chooses to, can go to network, to ask questions, to get information. There's a small computer lab there for them. There's a gathering space where they can gather and study or talk. They bring in speakers from across campus to do workshops and host a lot of events outside that center. And that is really to help our veteran students become assimilated into campus and be comfortable in this new environment. While they have been highly successful in their military careers, changing to a student status is a pretty significant switch, and they can be very successful at that, but sometimes they want to get a little extra help there.
Yeah, we talked with Jasmine when she was here, Carol, about how the old mantra, birds of a feather, and, you know, being able to go with somebody who could relate to being PCSing or going, well, you know, I've got, you know, inspection, having somebody who has like experiences as you do. And so that's what that center primarily is about. You know, they have resources there, and the military people, men and women, can go there and engage with one another.
Absolutely. That has been in place for a while, and it's been a real tremendous asset. We are also very fortunate that we have a program called Vet Success on Campus at Austin Peay. That is a program that's a partnership with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, where we have a VA voc rehab counselor assigned to Austin Peay full-time to help the veteran students secure their educational benefits and address any other issues that they have related to the VA.
So Austin Peay has someone who's designated, that's what all they do.
That's correct.
Is help the veterans.
Yes.
With their financial and with any other thing, disabilities, anything else that's going on.
Any of the students at Austin Peay, and as we've talked, that's a pretty significant number. So that is a full-time position for the individual who's there. And that is a great complement to the things that we are able to provide directly.
And so being able to work with you, and so you can make known what some of the needs are and some of the things that they would like to see happen with our veteran community. They go directly to you, and then you take it to, you know, Dr. White.
I do serve as a conduit for communication about the things that happen with the military. We have a lot of other folks on campus who are very attentive to working with the veteran students and all of our students, but in order to have some consolidation, that is a role I feel sometimes.
Well, and you've used the word a couple of times, being the conduit is important. You know, somebody knowing that we can tell Carol, this is something that it seems to a number of people have brought to our attention. How do we address that? And then you take it to the task force and go from there.
Right. We also have a couple of other things I'd like to mention. We have a student veteran organization.
A student veterans organization?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
That organization has been in existence for several years. It is affiliated with a national organization called Student Veterans of America. And it's an official student organization. Students who are veterans join. They elect officers. They do service-type activities. They do educational-type activities. They do a lot of informal peer mentoring and just help other students navigate that educational landscape.
So this is an opportunity to network with other universities? Is that correct?
They actually have a national meeting at least once a year, and the student veterans from many different schools can come together and learn what's happening at other schools and learn about programs they may want to initiate at their school. There are also state level meetings for that student organization, and it's a great way for them to learn about other things.
Is that something that you look for, Carol, at other universities that have someone in a capacity, similar capacity that you're in, that you can talk to and network with?
We do some of that. A few years ago, I was fortunate to be able to serve as an advisor to Governor Haslam's task force on Veteran Education Task Force for the state of Tennessee. And we had representatives from several different schools meeting with that group and meeting with state legislators and the commissioner of Tennessee Department of Veteran Services and so forth, and put together some recommendations that actually were implemented, and things like the Veteran Reconnect and some other things that we're seeing now in the state.
I was thinking that you being the conduit to helping our veterans and with the task force and everything, the average person might not realize how things can get, how the politics of our state, how they don't move as fast as we would like them to, and they can get bogged down in protocol and parliamentary procedures, or having the right people to address that. But you're being able to help out and with the task force would seem to be a big plus to cut down on some of the minutia that gets in the way.
Well, there are always processes that have to be followed, but when you put a focus on a particular issue with either a task force at a university level or in particular at the state level, then that does tend to elevate the significance of the issue, and I think can sometimes help with that.
And being able to have a veterans room, a veterans office, and being able to have someone who directly listens, that means a great deal, I'm sure, to a lot of our veteran students at Austin Peay State University.
It does. It's a great resource for them to be able to go in if they have a question and they don't know where to go. We have a lot of people on campus who are very focused on being helpful and informative and doing their job, but sometimes you just need that one point to go to where if you go in with a question, someone there will either have an answer or they will be able to direct you to someone who can answer your question. And I think that's one of the great things our Military Student Center does for our student veterans.
We're talking with Carol Clark. She is the Executive Assistant to the President for Community and Governmental Relations at Austin Peay State University. We're talking about the Military Education Task Force and some of the things that they do for our veterans. Veterans Day on the horizon, coming up November 11th. What else we got going on?
We also have November 18th, after Veterans Day, we will be having our Military Appreciation Day at Austin Peay Football. This year, we do not have a home football game Veterans Day weekend. And in our community, as you know, there are parades and breakfasts and lots of community-based events that day. But the following weekend, November 18th, will be Austin Peay's last home football game of the season, and that will be Military Appreciation Day. We have a lot of special events coming up in connection with that day that will be announced. But one of the things that we can talk about right now is that we have a generous donor who has agreed to pay for free admission for all current and former military ID card holders for that game. As you may have noticed, we've had some record attendance at some of our
why not?
games this year. Yes.
Let's pack that stadium.
Come angry. Come angry. That's what, we had a coach, the basketball coach, Matt Figures. He came and he said, I want that stadium packed, and I want you to come angry. I want you to bring your butt in that stadium and be angry when you come. So, well, that's good. And that's November 18th?
November 18th. The game is at 4 o'clock.
Who is it against?
It is against Eastern Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. We're getting another W. Now, and now, what about the military basketball game on post? That's kind of cool.
That is exciting, yes. That will be the Wednesday before Thanksgiving in one of the fitness center gyms. And I'm sure we'll be getting those details out a little bit closer to time.
Closer to it. But yeah, but I was excited to see that. I mean, even though the gym is a lot smaller than the Dunn Center, but it'll give ladies and gentlemen on post opportunity to see the governors, and that'll be a lot of fun.
That's a really important connection for Austin Peay and for our community, is our connection to Fort Campbell. We're fortunate to have our own building at the Education Center out there. We have a presence in the Fort Campbell Education Center, but several years ago, some people may not be aware, we actually built a building that is an Austin Peay building right next to that education center. And so we have a strong presence out there educationally, and anything we can do to encourage and invite the military families at the post to participate in activities at Austin Peay, we are really delighted to do that. So this basketball game will be one different approach to that, and we're excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, drum up some interest and give people a chance to come to a collegiate basketball game. And then the football game is really something, where someone has underwrote all of the tickets for the military, current and veteran.
ID card holders.
Yeah, ID card holders. So that's good. Yeah. Anything else?
There will be some special recognitions and some special exciting things, and I think our athletics folks will be making a specific announcement about that in the near future.
Both about the football game and the basketball game. If you go to letsgop.com, the information is on our athletics site.
Okay. All right. A lot of stuff they can't talk about. It's hush, hush, But anyway.
Next week or the next week?
It's coming, though,
Keep listening.
Keep listening. All right. So what else we got?
Well, another couple things that we do on campus that people are quite often surprised about. We have a military alumni chapter for our National Alumni Association. And that is individuals who graduated from Austin Peay and went into the military, or were in the military and then came to Austin Peay. So we literally have members all over the world. And many of those members come back at homecoming. We have a very nice dinner every year at homecoming that raises money for a couple of scholarships.
Y'all had I saw that as one of the activities. They had it last was it Friday?
Yes, Friday night.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Every Friday night before homecoming. And then in conjunction with that, we do a special recognition for all of our graduating students who are veterans or active duty service members. We have a ceremony every Wednesday before commencement where we present them with a special Austin Peay military coin. And that is a tradition that is deeply entrenched in the military, the presentation and receiving of military coins. We started doing that a few years ago, and we thought that the students would like it. We just, I don't think, fully realized how much they would appreciate it and how meaningful it is.
Have you found, Carol, that more and more men and women in our military are finding out, kind of like a sport, that there's life after the Army?
Yes. We see that all the time in our community. So many of our fellow citizens in this community are veterans. They are business owners. They are educators. They're working really in every field in our community. My family, in fact, came to this community first as an active duty Air Force family, and we won't
hold that against you.
Yeah, we were stationed at Fort Campbell for 9 years, and then we were gone for 7. But when that moving van pulled out of the driveway for our deployment, our relocation to Germany, I think I knew at that point in time that we would come back to Clarksville. Yeah. And we've been here since '94.
Yeah, well, I'm a military brat. My wife's a military brat, and it seems like we would always go to South Carolina, come back to Fort Campbell. Go overseas, come back to Fort Campbell. You know, it just always, and so this has been our second home. We're from Virginia, but it just, my wife's from Maryland. It just seems like this is our home. And it has, my dad always told us that you have to do something. And you have to do something because, you know, you can go in the military, but after the military, and even when he was in, and that was years ago, he always talked about, you know, doing life after the Army.
Well, so many of the service members are still very young when they leave the military, so they still, even if they stay for 20 or 30 years, they still have an opportunity to launch a second career and be very successful in that. And I know there's a lot of initiatives in the community to try to encourage those folks to stay in Clarksville because they really do bring a richness to the community that enhances life for all of us. And I hear people quite often talk about one family member comes here with the military and they choose to stay, and then eventually the rest of the family
bring their in-laws.
Yes.
And they bring their sisters and their brothers. And, you know, that is true, Carol. I know a number of people that have done that. They've moved down here and they retired here, and then they say, well, you need to come down and see this place. And they come down, and the next thing you know, the brother-in-law's here, and then the next thing you know, their grandmother's here. And, that happens. I've seen that a lot in Clarksville. But anyway, thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
We appreciate it. You have to come back and visit us. Good seeing you, Bill. Welcome back. I'm seeing you. You're back unscathed.
I'm unscathed,
which
is unusual.
And empty-handed. He's back unscathed from the great white Colorado elk hunting, and he's empty-handed. But anyway, Austin Peay State University. We appreciate Carol Clark, who is the executive assistant to the president for community and governmental affairs, and Bill Persinger, who is director of marketing at Austin Peay State University. This is Governor Wednesday on the Big 1400. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this.
For real estate services, Byers & Harvey can do it all. Real estate sales, rentals, property management, commercial and residential development. Byers & Harvey is Clarksville's oldest independent real estate company and has given continuous service since 1878. Byers & Harvey have 3 locations to serve you: in North Clarksville, in the heart of downtown, and at Sango. For more information and listings, visit them online at byersandharvey.com. byersandharvey.com. Byers & Harvey, Clarksville's real estate company.
We've got you covered every step of the way. That's what they do at Clarksville Floor Covering. Carpet, hardwood, tile, laminate, vinyl, and area rugs are what they specialize in. Visit Clarksville Floor Covering and let their on-staff interior designer put it all together to give you the look you want. Locally owned and operated since 1961, Clarksville Floor Covering is conveniently located at 606 North Spring Street, behind Sonic off Riverside Drive. Visit their website at clarksvillefloor-covering.com and be sure to check them out on Facebook.
Take advantage of end-of-year savings at Bobcat of Clarksville. We have as low as 0% financing and low monthly lease payments on Bobcat loaders, excavators, and Doosan heavy equipment. Need rental equipment or attachments? Give us a call, 931-436-9555, or find us online, bobcatofclarksville.com. Don't forget to stop by our open house for lunch on Friday, October 27th. Bobcat of Clarksville on Alfred Thune Road, Clarksville. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details. The Big 1400 is WJZM, Clarksville, Fort Campbell, Hopkinsville.
Moore's Office Supply is Clarksville's office supply and furniture experts. For office equipment, desks, chairs, and more, depend on Moore's Office Supply. Located on Franklin Street across from the Catholic Church, Moore's has been your business partner for office supplies in the Clarksville, Fort Campbell area for years. Call Moore's at 645-7200. That's 645-7200. And we'll deliver it for free. Moore's Office Supplies, Clarksville's office supply headquarters.
Why settle for less when you can get more at Wyatt Johnson in Clarksville, your winning team in Kentucky and Tennessee. Score and win with Wyatt Johnson GMC Buick, Toyota, Hyundai, Mazda, and Subaru, as well as 3 pre-owned superstores for more selection in minutes versus days, shopping place to place. We are the region's largest GMC Buick dealer, the area's newest Toyota dealer, and home of the Hyundai, Mazda, and Subaru giant. You always get more at your winning team in Kentucky and Tennessee. The Wyatt Johnson Automotive Family in Clarksville.
When's the last time you ate somewhere that uses real ingredients and makes everything from scratch? If it's been too long, you should head over to the Lunchbox at 2124 Woodlawn Road. They're serving daily barbecue plates featuring everything from smoked chicken to baby back ribs. The lunchbox menu also features the best hamburgers and all beef hot dogs around, served on freshly baked homemade buns. Save room for dessert because they've got hand-dipped ice cream and milkshakes too at the lunchbox, just off from Highway 79 at 2124 Woodlawn Road.
Clarksville Online is where you'll find the latest in Clarksville area news, weather, sports, and current events. Depend on Clarksville Online for crime reports and special events, Fort Campbell news and current events, and the latest financial news. Want sports? Then visit ClarksvilleSportsNetwork.com. Movie listings and weather bulletins? Go to DiscoverClarksville.com. And for all you bikers, visit ClarksvilleMotorcycle.com. You'll find everything you need on the Clarksville Online Digital Network. Clarksville Online. We are Clarksville.
The Big 1400 WJZM Radio, Clarksville area weather, partly sunny, cool, 58 for a high today. Tonight, 39 for an overnight low, and tomorrow, plenty of sunshine and 70. Currently, we're at 44 degrees in downtown Clarksville. Chuck and John on the Big 1400. Good morning, Clarksville. Big 1400 WJZM Radio, where we've got ball calls this afternoon or this evening, 7 o'clock. Ball calls, Bob Kessling here tonight on the Big 1400. Probably be talking about their upcoming trip to Lexington to take on Kentucky. But ball calls, is it 2 hours?
No, it's an hour.
It's an hour?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, 7 to 8 here on the Big 1400. Ball calls with Bob Kessling on the Big 1400. Time now for some good news. You know, and we look through different stories, and this one,
peruse the paper every morning.
And we find some good news, and this is really touching. A lot of people in Puerto Rico, of course, lost their homes in Hurricane Maria last month. But one person who's been helping them was already homeless. 19-year-old Christopher Rodriguez had been living on the streets in Puerto Rico and sleeping in an alley since he was 16. It's not clear where his family is, but he rode out the hurricane in a taxi terminal and says being alone was the scariest part. After the storm passed, he reached out to a group that was helping victims, but not because he wanted help. He wanted to help other people. For the past month, he's been helping a group of volunteers that's trying to make sure people in more remote areas have supplies. He's put together care packages and then carried them across a river to hand them out to people in need. He says he feels like he's been given a purpose in life, and he's even making new friends. Last Friday, on his 19th birthday, so some of the other volunteers took him out for a big birthday dinner. He says it felt like he was spending his birthday with his family again, which is something he hasn't done in a long, long time.
That's a good story.
Yeah, you go.
I like that.
You go, Christopher.
That is good.
You know the people in Puerto Rico need help.
They do.
And there's no red tape where he's involved.
No, none at all.
Yeah. The Big 1400, WJZM Radio, that does it for this Wednesday.
That's it.
We thank you. John and I always look forward to being with you and spending some time with you. And we are glad that you allow us to share your day with us. We'll get together again tomorrow. Till then, be well, my friend. Bye-bye.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's all right with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day.
famous.
WJZM, Clarksville.